The next panel, it's going to be an awesome panel. They're going to be talking about mass adoption of NFTs, which I think we're all working towards that, right? So they'll be talking mass adoption of NFTs, NFTs of today and tomorrow. Please help me welcome Robert, Dave, Peg, Jeff, and Luca.
Hello, I'm Peg Samuel. How many people here have been to NFT.NYC another time besides this year? And then how many people in the audience here have an NFT? Fantastic. Music NFT? Great. Art? Fantastic, thank you. So I'm Peg Samuel. I am founder and head of entertainment for Fierce Studios. We have a PFP project and we're also in Decentraland. I'm a consultant and advisor. I've been a professor at NYU. So I want the panel to introduce themselves and then we're going to talk about mass adoption in the space.
Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Bissinger. I lead our product group at Satori. We are an NFT minting API on the Near protocol. And so we're all about minting NFTs at scale. And we just launched our product about 10 minutes ago. So check us out on Twitter, Satori_NFT.
Hi everyone, my name is Dave Broome. I'm the CEO of, that's my team right there, CEO of Orange Comet, which is a Web3 NFT next generation entertainment company. My background is in Hollywood film and television. I started producing music shows and award shows in the late 90s. In the early 2000s, I started to get into unscripted. I created and produced a show called The Biggest Loser, which is a weight loss series, and Sylvester Stallone and I put on Netflix's first unscripted show called Ultimate Beastmaster. And then I had just launched last week, after filming Jennifer Lopez for 4 years, her documentary for Netflix. More importantly, and how I got into this crazy space was that I had built, along with our chief creative officer, Dante Ferrini, a very high-end 3D digital design team. And that's what transitioned us into Web3 and NFTs about 1.5 years ago. So I'm very excited, along with my colleagues here on the panel, to talk to you guys today about where the hell this shit's going.
Amazing.
Awesome. Hey, all. Thanks for coming. I'm Rob Konsdorf, CEO and founder of Facings. We are an NFT launchpad building a full custody solution for Web 2 native companies to essentially launch and not need to manage any aspect of crypto blockchain. Essentially, we're an abstraction layer that lets you launch complex pack redeemables, etc. And essentially, my background's in software engineering. I've co-founded a blockchain startup in 2018, started studying the space in 2013 as a technologist, and have really watched it grow and unfurl, and it's amazing to be here, so thanks.
Hey guys, my name's Luca. I'm the CEO of Pudgy Penguins. A little bit about my past. I come from a direct-to-consumer background. I've had many successful direct-to-consumer brands, about $250 million in revenue across all the brands that I've started, and I'm excited to take my talents into the Web3 space and be on this awesome panel with all of you, so thank you.
Sweet.
I'm like really stoked about this panel. We were talking backstage and I thought I could speak to anyone here for 20 minutes. So I'm gonna just like open it up, and also we don't have to go in order, we can keep it lively. But for me, with the topic of mass adoption, this is actually the 3rd year I've been on this same panel, so mass adoption. And usually I just say like, you know, I sometimes feel like Decentraland is almost like AOL. Like it's still not quite like easy. The user interface isn't super easy yet. And I love it, so I'm not like dogging it. I'm just saying it's still early days. And for me, I feel like barriers to entry are user interface or even minting NFTs to MetaMask for regular people. And then the other piece, I'm gonna say that, so I help Rosie Labs, the agency, work on FIFA, and they're gonna be dropping a digital collectible, which is an NFT, but we're calling it a digital collectible, and I think that will help because we're not jargoning it, and just in terms of thoughts around it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really smart in the digital collectible world, calling it that. And I think part of this too, at the end of the day, what we all have to understand is, in my opinion, 2 things. First, the content is what matters the most. That is what is going to bring the masses to the world of NFTs, Web3, digital collectibles. You know, we had launched as a company a multi-year partnership with AMC for The Walking Dead. So we're building to a much bigger runway, as well as about 30 other projects that I wish I could announce today, but I can't. But most importantly, if you want to get if you're a creator out there or a producer or running a company, you have to drive and engage the fans, the masses, by showing them cool shit that they care about, that they want to spend money on, that they want to engage in, and they want to become part of a community, that they want to actually be involved in. Copycat projects that we're seeing in this space so far, in my opinion, they're going to go away because no one can get excited about that stuff. So I'll toss it to the rest of the panel here, but the first and foremost is, and I guess maybe because my background is as a creator producer, aren't we supposed to excite people through the best content? Doesn't content always, isn't that want to watch a movie? You want to watch a great movie. You want to listen to a song? You want to listen to a great song. You want to buy an NFT and get into Web3 collectibles? It better be damn good.
I think you make an amazing, both of you guys. I think calling it a digital collectible and decoupling it from the term NFT is something that I think all of us in the room here, we probably think about NFTs as like these financial assets. And so most of the world, when they hear financial asset or make money, you cannot relate to that. And so if you're calling them digital collectibles, you're bringing killer content. We have to find a way to just decouple financial value from a lot of these items. Yeah, I'm going to talk with my team about the digital collectible item.
Totally. I didn't tell you this earlier, Peg, but in June of last year, we used digital collectible on the initial Facings.io site instead of NFT. And now if you go look at it, it says NFT again. Yeah. Mostly because I started to feel a little pinned in because you've got membership cards, you've got anything can have a digital twin or an NFT component, so there's game items. I don't know if all of them are collectibles or not. I guess that's a philosophical thing, but I almost went the opposite way, but it's still vexing to me because I still don't think NFT is a great term for the masses. Yeah. But anyways, just a little color to add there.
I hate to jump in, but I think the term NFT is so broad. Like, how do you put a membership token on the same kind of playing field as a piece of fine art, as like a profile photo? Like, at the end of the day, everything's being called an NFT, but everything is so different. And you have a digital collectible, but I have like a business card as an NFT. So.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with the narrative that content is king, no matter what business you're in, right? Web 2, Web 3. Content is always going to be the differentiating factor as to who becomes a brand loyalist and who doesn't. I think unfortunately there's a conundrum in the space right now, and that is you have two audiences, and that is the audience you're looking to build, and then you have the Web 3 audience. Curating content to the Web 3 audience has been a real trick, and it has been something that I think has been pressuring a lot of founders. Now there's two differentiating things. You might build an NFT company and you start from scratch, and then there's also the other vertical where you go and onboard existing brands. But at least for the startups in the space, I think, and something that we found with Pudgy Penguins, we've had a lot of internal discussions, is you have a core audience right now of Web3 users of 2 to 3 million people, but when you're talking about mass adoption and creating content to appeal to all of those people, creating content for a Web3 user as it exists today is not advantageous. But in the same breath, you have to kind of chase after this game, which is, what is your collection valued at with the floor price and the volume? And you also want to create content that moves that needle, but the content that moves that needle is not the same content that brings in mass adoption. So I think right now there's a conundrum that's kind of, at least for Web3 founders in the startup business, that's creating projects that live on the blockchain, is how do you kind of blank out the noise and build what you want to build without kind of chasing this needle that's consistently being moved by this finite amount of, short-term Web3 users that are just looking to trade. Right now it's very much a trading game, but hopefully soon the narrative will change into brand loyalists and creating brand integrity. But
I'll just tag up on that, Luca, because for The Walking Dead that we have done, Again, we're building to a virtual environment. But very interestingly, we found, and I was telling Peg this backstage, that about 25% of our customers, fans that purchased, and this has done about $17 million so far in transactional revenue for us, about 25% of them have never bought an NFT before. On the flip side, about 75% of the fans who are buying the NFTs never saw the television series, even though it's in its 11th season, before, which is a very, very interesting statistic when you think about it. And AMC was thrilled with it because that gives them the opportunity to increase their ratings from the 75% of the fans who are buying NFTs but don't know about the television show, but said, hey, you know what? This is cool shit. This looks great. This is amazing. I can get engaged in this. I can get excited about this. So they connected into the actual television series. On the flip side, the 25% of the fans who started to buy the NFTs got engaged because they were hardcore fans of the series, but we were able to convert them and move them over into the world of Web3, digital collectibles, which I love exactly what Peg's saying there. It's absolutely right. And that is exciting. That means that we can take people in a general entertainment property and move them into the world of what we all are interested in here in NFT and decentralized, whether it's Decentraland or whatever you're going to do in a virtual environment or Web3. That is exciting to us, and that's why for Orange Comet, we're building out 30 different entertainment properties that we're going to make announcements on in the next couple of days, actually. So let me let you go with that, Peg.
Yeah, no, I love that, and that was going to be one thing that I was going to ask you about for everybody else here because I heard it backstage. But that 25%. So I've worked on projects where we've had famous people push it out on all of their channels and whatnot, like social media, to convert over to buy, and the number is super low. And so 25% is huge. Like, it's a huge conversion. All of us backstage were like, wow, that's big. The friction points are like, where are the friction points in the UI for people to be able to convert? And I also agree with the Web3 marketing versus general public marketing. So like the digital collectible for FIFA will be great because we do want to onboard regular fans to the world's game online. And the NFT native people will, they'll probably understand very quickly it's an NFT, but so much of, I think, this ecosystem is us buying from each other, and that's great. And this event is even growing. 15,000 people, and it was less the last time, and less. So that's great. But in order to create, again, mass adoption, some of these things need to move behind us in this room. Any thoughts on more ways to, mass adoption now and where that's kind of going?
I would love to see some consumer products that we use every single day that can be leveraged as NFTs. I think membership tokens were mentioned at some point. Like, it can be something as mundane as like a Costco membership. Like, what is the value that could bring by being an NFT? Like, that doesn't have to have a price tag of like $500 associated to it, and it's only valuable to the membership owner. But the real value is actually on the brand. It's like, what can Costco do with a membership token that is an NFT? There's pretty much like an unlimited possibility. They just need to get those into the hands of their customers. I'm not working with Costco. I would love to, but just like a really good example of a membership.
There's a few examples of that on Wax, actually. So AMC did a drop for all of their shareholders. You could claim this I own AMC NFT if you wanted to, and they minted over 400,000 of these and handed them out. And then if you had the NFT, you could go through a flow later. They'd send you an email and say, hey, we've got an exclusive screening. If you have the NFT linked to your AMC loyalty account, now you can go to this exclusive screening.
Look, let's be honest. The system to buy an NFT is shit. You need 50 steps to be able to buy this stuff, and it's a mess. As soon as we can simplify how to set up a MetaMask and how to get a this and a that, as soon as my dad, who's 83 years old, can buy an NFT and not think that it's a TFN and know what the hell he's doing with the thing, and actually walk through it the same way I want to go buy something on Amazon or eBay, then we've got a game changer. That has to get fixed, and it has to get fixed now. And in my conversations with a lot of the marketplaces and the blockchains, that's what they're doing. They understand that. But if you really want the masses, we've got to simplify the buying process and then serve up great stuff as we all talked about here. But you've got to dumb this down, and it's just too complicated right now.
Yeah, totally, David, and being able to offer lower price point products is important too, because not everyone is going to ever pay hundreds of dollars for an NFT, but they may pay $2 or $3 for an NFT. But when we look at the economy or the economics of blockchain resources, those low price NFTs don't make sense on specific networks. They're more suited for other types like Ethereum and fine art. You can't really make a scalable $1 NFT experience on Ethereum. You just can't. So it's really, in my opinion, the major barriers are, like you said, easy conversion and onboarding. One of our biggest milestones personally in Facings for me was we got our credit card system up. We're integrated on Wax. We did a drop in October for an oddities parlor called Strange and Unusual. We even got Doug Bradley from Hellraiser to do the narrations of the rare cards. It's like a museum curio thing. But I sent my mom the link and I said, try to buy one of these. And she did within 10 minutes. And that was because the Wax accounts were free. You could get them free through a faucet at the time. She could buy her first NFT through our credit card processing system we set up. And our abstraction layer also handles other things that you'd normally have to think about, the equivalency of gas fees on Wax, but it's a different system. So we abstracted away and we cover their resources and usage for them so they can just use the product seamlessly. And there's still a lot of work to be done in that realm, but it's really where this industry needs to go if we want the next 3 million users to join.
I think we're all aligned on the friction, right? There's a lot of friction right now, but I think beyond that, you have to look at kind of where we are as a community in the space in general. And I think right now NFTs stand in a category that you would kind of categorize as intimidating. And so how do you make something intimidating unintimidating? And so, for example, when we started this panel, you guys referenced, you didn't like the term NFT, and you used the term digital collectibles, and that's kind of like a step. How is this branded moving forward? What's the narrative being pushed? A lot of people kind of like to disregard PFP projects, but I think they're going to play a huge step in making the space unintimidating. And I think how you get people is to kind of remove the taboo. I think friction's a huge part about it, but beyond the friction, crypto versus 2017 to where we are today, they removed the friction, but and with the branding and the endorsements, it's become less intimidating, right? You have Staples Center, it's now crypto.com, like it's no longer intimidating. I think that's gonna play a pivotal role to where we wanna get this space to where we wanna be. There's gonna be an era, I think, over the next 18 to 24 months of boring NFTs. When you buy a Dyson vacuum, it comes with an NFT, it's legitimate. When I buy a sneaker, it comes with a authentication. StockX is already doing it. So it's starting to come in ways that are kind of disguised, right, with the technology being the underlying technology. But I think beyond that, I think as forward thinkers, we need to think, okay, let's solve the friction problem, which I think a lot of the marketplaces are owning. But beyond that, how do you make this unintimidating and no longer taboo?
We have to solve the security issue. Everybody has to feel that they're in a safe environment. The fraud, the bad actors, everything and everyone who's in this space who's chasing the money and is actually screwing the whole thing up for everybody here. But it's no different than the .com of the 90s. This is a repeat. This is a part two for everyone who was looking at, back in the 90s when every day another company would come out. Beer.com, milk.com, chair.com. Oh, and all of a sudden, by the way, here's Amazon or eBay or Yahoo. So you get the unicorns that rise from that as well. But back in the 90s when the internet started, if we all remember it, really started to explode, there were people fraudulently stealing every single day. The security issue had to get fixed. Look, nothing is perfect. We know an umbrella with even pinholes in it is going to get you wet. But we've got to fix the security issues that are coming along with Web3, NFTs, blockchain, marketplaces. That shit has got to go away. That's how the masses are going to start to feel comfortable about being here, putting a credit card down, or buying or using crypto to be able to make their purchases. They've got to feel secure.
Totally. I got 2 points to make. The first one is check your FOMO so you don't do what he was talking about, just chase the money and put out something that isn't, the highest quality content you can. And then the other thing I wanted to ask was how many people got a business card that was an NFT while you're here? Anyone? I see a few. I did too, and I thought that was amazing, to your point, Jeff, of just having other things to use them on. So anyways, just a couple points.
Okay. I was going to say, go ahead, because we're almost going to wrap in a minute here.
Oh, I'm just going to say the security thing is a big deal. Like, I've been around this for a little bit. I clicked a link last week. I almost entered into a scammy website, and it looked legitimate. So that's a real issue.
Don't scan those QR codes in Times Square.
Yeah.
There's seriously already been some people
Oh, wow.
fished and had their money, their wallet drained. So there's literally that's happening currently.
Yeah.
I just want to make like one last point. Like everybody here in the room, all of us paid something to come here. Whether you bought like a ticket, maybe you got a ticket for free, but like your time is being spent here. And so you're going to leave here and talk about whatever you got, whatever like value add you got from attending this conference. Maybe it's listening to us, maybe it's talking to somebody you're sitting next to, but you're like a steward of this community now. And so like if we start talking about how much money we're making or like how much NFTs are worth in the future, it's actually just shooting us all in the foot. Like this technology is not going to get adopted if we only talk about how much money we are making. Like to the business card standpoint, I think that's like the most practical everyday use case of an NFT. So that's what I'll say.
So we're out of time, but I would like to just wrap this by saying, yeah, I believe in the underlying technology, and this is a technology event that we're all at, and we're helping move this technology, Web3, along right now. And that's when somebody asks me what I do now, I just say Web3, because if I say NFT or crypto, whatever, they start talking about Bitcoin. So it's really, for me, it's the tech is here, and we're obviously working on the friction and lots of really interesting projects. And yeah, I love that you say that y'all here are a steward as well. So thank you. Thank you, guys.
everyone.
Thanks
Thank
all.
you guys.